Hey everybody, it's me, Debbie Kamau. Welcome to episode nine, almost 10 of the podcast. Who's with me? I'm your host, Debbie Kamau. Before we get started, follow me on my Substack, also called Who's With Me. I keep forgetting to mention that this podcast was a spinoff of my Substack. Substack, if you don't know what it is, it's just a fancy way of saying newsletter. But if you you can follow the link will be here. If you follow me there, you will be able to keep up with everything I'm doing in a much more efficient way than how social media does things. Yeah. Also called Who's With Me. This is called Who's With Me. I'm trying to keep things brand consistent. Also, stand-up comedy. If you want to come see me do some stand-up comedy, this is all in the fall. September 25th at Stamford, Connecticut at the New York Comedy Club. It's in Stamford. I said Stanford last time. Stamford, Connecticut, New York Comedy Club. October 1st, Stanford University at the Memorial Auditorium, October 1st. So Stanford on one side of the country, and then Stanford University a little bit later. And then I'm doing Bellingham, Washington at the Mount Baker Theater on November 13th. So there'll probably be more dates to come, assuming that you guys want to see me. Also, feel free to say in wherever you're getting this down in the comments where you'd like to come see me do stand-up comedy. I had a guy on the street today. I was walking, heading to my office, and a guy said, "Hey, man, I'm a big fan." I said, "Thanks." He goes, "Do more stand-up." I was like, "Okay, sir, I'll do more stand-up." So I'll have to do more stand-up because that guy insisted on it. Yeah, what else is going on? This is episode 9 of Who's With Me. My guest today is Eddie Huang. Eddie is a author, just a general writer. He's also on Substack. Follow him on Substack. He's a restaurateur, has Bauhaus in Manhattan. He's also just kind of a bon vivant and doesn't mind stirring up some shit. He's he's an FOB, friend of Bourdain, not friend of Bill Clinton, friend of Bourdain. We talk a little bit about our relationships with Anthony Bourdain. He was closer with him than I am. And we talk about his book, his first novel called Come Undone, which is out now. You can get it right now. And then later, I actually had a conversation with Eddie through City Arts and Lectures out here in the Bay Area about the book again. So it's 2 different conversations with Eddie about his book. But because they were sort of a few weeks apart, they're just different. So I would recommend going to both of them. And the one at City Arts and Lectures was actually in front of an audience of people who were rabid Eddie Huang fans. It was cool to see. Yeah, so Come Undone. It's out right now. It's his first novel, and I would say that Eddie doesn't care if the book is not for you. This is not a beach read for everybody. It's kind of a modern When Harry Met Sally story, but told more from the dude's perspective, and the dude in this case is Eddie Huang. It is semi-autobiographical. There are many of the details are changed, but it's about a guy like him. So if you like Eddie, then you're likely to like the book, and as he knows, if you don't like Eddie, he's going to say, then don't get this book. So I like an artist who's like, this is what I do. If it's not for you, that's fine. I think I'm like that, but I'm not as much like that as Eddie is. So, it was great to talk to Eddie. At the end, though, I just want to say trigger warning. We do talk about domestic violence in some detail. Eddie has dealt with domestic violence in his life through his parents. His dad, as he talks about, has abused his mom. And Eddie has a lot of thoughts about that issue because he's been the child in a family where that was happening, a child whose mom said, "Don't call the cops." And Eddie also felt like he didn't want to call the cops because, as many people know, especially people of color, Black people, Indigenous people, Asian people, brown people, Latino people, the cops don't always come to our house to help even when we want them to. So any number of stories, especially of Black people that I can think of Black people calling the cops just for help and then ending up dead. So he's got thoughts about, are there ways to create a situation where families can deal with domestic violence in a way that de-escalates instead of escalates. And the first thing isn't to break up the family. And I get this stuff is controversial and hard to talk about, and I'm no expert on it. So I just want to be clear. I'm not an expert in this. We're talking about it. But if you are dealing with domestic violence, there's a National Domestic Violence Hotline, 800-799-7233. Or you can text BEGIN, BEGIN, to 88788. This is all I got right now. If you know other domestic violence services that you think are good, please drop them down in the comments, and maybe we'll talk about them in upcoming weeks. But again, I talked to Eddie because he didn't have a specific cause he wanted to shout out, or anybody who's doing work he understands. So I bring up to Eddie the Anti-Police Terror Project, which is a project that is against police terror. A lot of the conversation around defund the police came out of them. And if that idea scares you, just remember, they're just saying, let's allocate police resources to other areas. In most cities, police get like 50% of the budget or more. And we're saying, hey, not all that money should go to the police. There are also other social services it can go to that would prevent the need for police at all. So yes, please, Anti-Police Terror Project, check them out. And they have a service out here in Oakland called MH First, which is a project. I'm going to read what they say. Project of Anti-Police Terror Project is a cutting new model for non-police response to mental health crisis. The goal of MH First is to respond to mental health crises, including but not limited to psychiatric emergencies, substance use support, and domestic violence safety planning. So they're even talking about domestic violence in there. But obviously, like if you're in an abusive relationship, maybe call them. They can help you get ready or plan or figure out ways around this or through this problem. So again, this is just in Oakland. It's a free hotline, 510-999-9MH1, as in letters MH and then the number 1. And then on Wednesdays through Sundays from 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. And again, it's just a pilot program. They're working on it. Obviously, they'd like it to be longer hours. And I'm sure there are programs like that around the country. I'm just not aware of them. Again, drop them in the comments. Let people know. But yeah, and also I talked about the organization I'm on the board of directors of, Live Free, that is run by my friend Pastor Michael McBride. It is a national organization, and what they do is they're trying to end mass incarceration and gun violence, and they are connected to violence interrupters, which I think would also be helpful in these situations. People who just show up to interrupt the violence, not to escalate the violence. So we talked about in this episode about de-escalation and the need for more de-escalation in these situations. But it's, again, if it is not for you, you will hear when I ask Eddie about a cause or anything he wants to support, that's when we go into it. So if it's not for you, please check out then. But the rest of the episode is just a real dynamic, fun conversation. Again, we talk a lot about Anthony Bourdain. We talk about Eddie very famously was one of the producers and had the show Fresh Off the Boat, the ABC sitcom about an Asian American family based on his book, Fresh Off the Boat. And he very famously said it was not a good show, I think before even the first episode aired, and called it out. And so we talk about the process of being an artist who's saying my art is not being respected, even if saying that is going to hurt your bottom line. So it's a great conversation. Enjoy my conversation with Eddie Huang.